absolutely fantastic, Stephen. You know that? We're live and interactive here.
Fine. Hello and welcome to this Wednesday's edition of Movie News here at MBE. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and of course our Twitch stream. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin, and the other co-host here 5 days a week.
Nope, that's not the right graphic.
Sometimes 8 days a week. It's John C. Walsh.
Absolutely depressed out my napper, Steve,
John,
because I've just destroyed a £600 monitor.
It will get fixed. It can get fixed and it will get fixed. But
that's depressed me more than the vaccine, Stephen.
Yeah, you got your first vaccine
tonight,
so didn't you? Yeah.
So am.
They say don't do that, John. You know.
And I done lateral raises. Weights. I did my weights. I did my pull-ups afterwards. I'm determined.
You're a glutton for punishment.
Yes.
Yeah, certainly are. But if at any point you have the sweats, that
it's
is
more my
the
eyes,
reason.
Stephen. My eyes not clearing.
That's not a good sign.
Continual blindness, and I'm having
That's not a good sign,
blink
John.
a lot.
But listen, you're doing better than I did. I was out of the game for 2 whole days.
But you're the AstraZeneca crew. You're
Yeah.
the Vauxhall Astra. I'm the Pfizer crew.
Yeah,
so
I'm one of the old gits as well that gets the different vaccine. I'm in the 40s range, and I got the deadly one.
The Vauxhall Astra.
But John, but as you can, I'd have preferred a Vauxhall Astra in my arm rather than that. But John, we're talking about Indiana Jones here. Henry Jones. Indiana Jones 5, that is, as you can tell from our thumbnail and of course our main headline. And its set photos make Harrison Ford's return feel so real. This is coming from Cinema Blend, John, and I looked at that first the first sort of photograph that was on their article, and I went, that's not a new one, that's an old one, that's from the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yes.
And I thought, what they've tried to pull here, but it's actually from Reddit. Heard it, as I like to call it. But back when Disney first bought Lucasfilm, we were promised not only new Star Wars movies, but at least one more Indiana Jones film as well. Back in 2016, we were told that the movie was officially happening, and yet nothing actually happened with it for a long time.
On the right screen here. I do apologise.
The project was continually delayed as a parade of writers attempting to find the right story that everyone felt was the right adventure for Indiana Jones, making the movie take so long that even franchise director Steven Spielberg couldn't wait any longer, and he stepped away, handing the director's chair to James Mangold. Well, if Spielberg's not doing it, John, James Mangold is the right person after him, and yet after all the delays, all the writers and even multiple directors, it now feels like Indiana Jones 5 may actually be a movie that's going to really happen. A pair of photos from the set of the film surfaced on Reddit, and production is reportedly set to begin next week. I couldn't find the photos. I thought Cinema Blend might have published them, but they didn't. They just put the link in, John.
I can't find my mouse cursor, Stephen. So,
but John, what's your take on these photos? I don't think there's not much there. I thought we might have got one at least of Harrison Ford. But
yes, there is a photograph there, Stephen. Yeah. One, as you can see, is a rather nice looking castle, and that excited me to my very smallest part of my soul.
Yeah,
that there is a cat. It just seems right, doesn't it? Let's bring us both up here, Stephen.
Yes,
this
please.
Probably will be a disaster. It is a disaster. Look at that, Stephen. That does not work. Let's just go back to you.
Okay.
I've got a new monitor capturing the display, and needless to say, it's a fucking joke. It's a 1080p monitor instead of a quad HD.
John, I'm actually facing the right way for a change.
You're facing the correct way, yes.
I'm normally having my back turned to the image, as if I'm in a huff with it, but it looks good.
Stephen, as you can see here, this is all the set getting built.
Yeah.
It's on the eastern coast of Northern England.
You're right.
I can't recall exactly where, but it is up in North England. We have got the likes of James Mangold, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Mads Mikkelsen, Harrison Ford, sauntering around the east coast of Northern England.
Yeah.
Stephen, we've got a comment in from Ruth. My eye is just not. It's just not.
I
focusing.
can read that, John. It says,
Not
"Hi,
focusing.
Stephen and John. Hope it's a great day in Glasgow." It's always a great day in Glasgow.
It's not a good day today for me. It was starting off well. I was full of life and happiness, energy. I had my COVID vaccine today, the Pfizer. I felt good. No fever, no shivering, slight soreness in the arm. Done my weights, came up the stairs and destroyed a monitor, and now I'm just in the pits of fucking despair.
But you didn't destroy the monitor in a Pete Townsend style way. It was actually an accident, wasn't it?
Just utterly, Stephen, it's took the life out of me.
Yeah.
I'm actually depressed now. I'm depressed. But Stephen, let's try and lift the spirits a little bit here.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones 5. It is starting shooting next week, Stephen. I
Yeah.
don't know if you were aware of that. I actually had an article up
Yeah.
before it destroyed the monitor, and I've lost it now. So, it's starting shooting next week. Are you looking forward to this movie, Stephen? I spoke about this a hell of a lot. I spoke about Mads Mikkelsen being the villain of the movie. And as you know, we both love, as you know, you love Mads Mikkelsen. I'll tell you that you love Mads Mikkelsen.
Thanks. Oh, do it. Okay, I do.
We both love Mads.
Yeah.
He's our favourite Danish director. Actor, I should say, not director. The vaccine's starting to work. And he has been notorious for playing villains, Stephen. He played a paedophile.
In
He
the
played
Hunt, yeah.
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
He played the villain in the first Doctor Strange movie. He's playing a villain in Fantastic Beasts 3. He's playing a villain in this, Stephen. Do you think that is going to make or break this movie, the performance of the villain? Because Harrison Ford is getting a little bit on now. He's in his late 70s.
Yeah.
And Father Time doesn't wait for anyone. And I do feel like they're going to have some nice supplementary actors
John,
to help the aging Harrison Ford.
It does say in this article, it's also anyone's guess how Indiana Jones will actually play into the film. Harrison Ford is 78 years old. He'll be 79 in about 6 weeks and 80 when this movie actually comes out. He's in perfectly good shape, even great shape for his age, but who knows how much we can really expect Ford to actually do when it comes to the traditional Indiana Jones action. John, this looks like a guy that's in his early 60s to me.
Stephen, he is in great shape, in fairness to him. He's in better shape than me.
Yeah,
and he crashed a plane on a golf course, crash landed it, and came out with a scratch in his arm. So this guy is certainly capable of leading this movie to some degree. We've seen it in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
He practically led that movie. He was like a supporting lead actor in that movie, and he wasn't much younger than what he is just now. So he can certainly do a good job of tackling some of the action, maybe with helping hands from stuntmen and stuff like that. But I just think Mads Mikkelsen's going to be absolutely key. If he is indeed playing a villain, we don't know if he is playing a villain. I've just made it up.
I would, if I was a betting person, I would say he was John. I think you asked the question, was I excited about this film? Not really. When it first announced, I'm not the biggest Indiana Jones fan. I like The Last Crusade out of them all. Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom are really great movies, but The Last Crusade, because of his chemistry with Sean Connery. This one didn't really excite me after the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was an absolute flip-de-flop. And I think they should have just left it as a trilogy. But they're doing it. And Mads Mikkelsen being announced in the movie excites me. Because this guy, everything that I've seen him in so far, I've loved.
Dynamite.
And the first movie I saw him in, John, was that film you're talking about, The Hunt. It was a foreign language film, and he was amazing in it. I think I saw it on Netflix, actually. It was under the foreign film category. I didn't know who he was. I recognise his face. I think at the time he was doing the Hannibal series, and I thought, give it a bash, and it was an amazing performance.
Played the villain in a Bond movie as well, didn't he? Was it Casino Royale? He played the villain.
Yeah.
So he has got a history of playing villains like the great Gary Oldman did in the late 90s through.
Technically, he played a villain in Rogue One to an extent.
Galen Russell, I forgot Jen Russell's name. I think it was last night. So I've remembered it today. Jen Russell, Galen Russell. He did, Stephen. He was responsible for building the weapon system in the Death Star, which led to the death of billions of people on Alderaan. I'm trying to find my mouse cursor here. I've not got a clue where it is. For some reason, it's invisible. These monitors are an absolute disgrace. I'm going to be in pain.
Ruth says James Mangold is a fantastic director, but I am a little sceptical. I mean,
he's a great director. He done Ford v Ferrari, he done Logan. He
did the other Wolverine film, the Japanese one as well, which I didn't mind. But Logan was a fantastic film, John. To put a sort of Western spin on an X-Men film was a very neat trick from James Mangold. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I think getting into any of these type of films with, if it's not Steven Spielberg at the helm, it's going to be very difficult to sort of recapture the magic. But if you're going to replace Spielberg, you want someone with Mangold's caliber. Someone that knows how to deal with a massive franchise like Indiana Jones. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Stephen, I'll go to me briefly, just so we can share the love with these wide shots and give you a chance to maybe take a slight break. Stephen, you're right in what you says. I'm not going to procrastinate too long. That was a big word for someone who's had dry mouth today and concerns about pronouncing certain words. To say procrastinate not once but twice is a ballsy move from me. But Steve Mangold is the perfect person to stand in for Spielberg. We've seen it with the Terminator franchise. Once James Cameron moves away, you bring in some less than spectacular directing choices. Tim Miller being the most recent version from Dark Fate, and it's really fell at the first hurdle with the director. With this, you're right, man. The last one, I don't know who directed the Kingdom of the Lost Skull. If that's what it was even called, Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull. Yeah, I'll check that, John. I'll check that just now.
It certainly wasn't Steven Spielberg. I'm pretty fucking sure it wasn't, and it just didn't work for me. And the fact you try to shoehorn Shia LaBeouf in as well, and I like Shia. I think he's great. He was good in Fury. As a sort of team with John Bernthal, Brad Pitt, and Logan Lerman, I think it was. So he is certainly a good actor. It wasn't his fault that the movie failed, but it was just a whole sort of litany of errors. Was it Spielberg? Jesus, suffering fuck. Stephen, get your shit together.
David Cope was the
writer. He's a great writer, man.
Yeah, John, I just think it was...
He done the autopsy of Jane Doe, didn't he?
There was just something about George Lucas did the story as well, but which is good because George Lucas is a great storyteller.
And Cope's working in this, isn't he, with Lawrence Kasdan's...
Yeah.
Is it Lawrence Kasdan's son? Is Lawrence Kasdan?
Is it Jonathan?
Jonathan Kasdan. They're working together. He's working on Willow as well, a TV show.
And
obviously, you're looking forward to it. Who's that, Stephen? I can't read that because I'm blind as a bat and the light's in the way.
Yeah, it's... I am looking forward to it, and I'll have to look forward, John, because my eyes aren't as... and one.
See, this is what happens when one monitor goes down. One monitor goes down. It's the best monitor on my whole desk setup. It goes down, and now we're looking about trying to see what's happening. I can't even see the mouse cursor. Steve, I'm looking forward to it as well now. I'm with Ruth though. I have some issues, some concerns, and the main concern is the leading man that is Harrison Ford. He is coming up for 79. I did say that he can maybe fill in that role, but he's going to need to have some heavy lifting from the supporting actors because he's getting on, man.
I don't want to see them do what they did in Attack of the Clones with Christopher Lee and superimpose a face on.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And you're like, that's not right. An elderly man does not move like that. Doesn't matter if you superimpose his face onto a younger body. We all know he's an elderly man.
Yeah.
It's the same with your man
Harrison Ford.
That played the Emperor, Ian McDiarmid.
Yeah.
They did the same with him in Revenge of the Sith, and I just thought it was so jarring looking.
Stephen, getting back to those set photos though, the final thing I'll say, I like the fact it's on the coast because we've seen a lot of good coastal moments in Indiana Jones movies. Of course, The Last Crusade, was that the one with Sean Connery? Where he sort of uses the umbrella to get the birds into the plane. We've had some great moments on the coast in Indiana Jones. They've picked the best week possible to come over because it's been absolutely blistering here in the United Kingdom. Finally, long time waiting, 20 plus, 23, 24 degrees every day so far. So hopefully it sticks, the weather. We get some nice scenic shots of the water, wherever the fuck it is in the northeast of England. And we've got a castle, and without repeating myself, it just seems right for a castle. I'm presuming it's a castle. It looks like a castle to be in an Indiana Jones movie because again, The Last Crusade.
Do we have a title for the film yet?
We don't.
No,
not yet. That will be an important moment as well. Won't it?
It's like a Star Wars title, isn't it? It's something that it will last forever.
Is Spielberg working in a sort of advisory role, a producer role?
I would say somewhere, John.
So you've got Mangold, you've got Lucas, you've got Spielberg, you've got David Coip again, I think, Jonathan Kasdan. It's a good team. Hopefully they can do better than what they did the last time because they certainly can't do worse.
John, I think the problem with the Kingdom and Crystal Skull was it was too much of a stretch between the Last Crusade and that movie.
It was Luke Skywalker. And
it was 15 odd years or whatever it was, wasn't it? It might have been longer. It might have been 17 years or something like that.
Well, when was the last one? The last one was that
the Last Crusade was 1990, and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out in 2007, 2008. So you're talking a good 18 years.
That's a long time.
Another comments coming in, John, from And1. What would be your favourite MacGuffin? The movie.
What is going on here, man?
What would be your favourite MacGuffin the movie, John?
MacGuffin the movie? Do you mean a MacGuffin?
In a movie.
In a movie. I don't know what's going on here, Steve. My PC's got a mind of its own.
I think you're bringing up Xbox.
It's doing crazy shit. I think it's actually the keyboard. The keyboard will be goose now as well. Favourite MacGuffin in a movie? Well, it's certainly not that fucking key finder thing from the Rise of Skywalker. That was terrible. PC's got a mind of its own here. MacGuffin in a movie. Favourite MacGuffin in a movie? Oh, you know what? It's a plot device that furthers the actual story, isn't it? That's probably the hoverboard in Back to the Future 2, because it was a great MacGuffin that allowed Marty to fly and get away and get obviously the almanac.
I would say the almanac's probably the MacGuffin in the movie.
The almanac, yeah.
You know, that carried the story, you know, for Back to the Future 2, but that's a good example, John.
Yeah.
Something I would really have to think about, but you're absolutely right, that a MacGuffin in a movie can be done correctly, John, or it can be done with disastrous results, and like you said, The Rise of Skywalker was a terrible example of using a MacGuffin. It carried the film in the wrong way. It was just, everything was so convenient in that film from one scene to the next. I know you're having a hard time here, John.
I'm trying to work out what's going on, Steve. I'm going very quick.
Yeah, you do that.
Just all sorts of disasters.
I'm going to move on to the next topic anyway, John, and it's all about Scarlet Witch will have a thicker accent in Doctor Strange 2. This is coming in from Screen Rant, and it's Elizabeth Olsen says Scarlet Witch will return to her thicker Sokovian accent when she appears in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I'm just going to read a little quote here, John, from the article. And in an oral history of WandaVision by Rolling Stone, I'll have to read that, Elizabeth Olsen says the Scarlet Witch will return to have a thicker accent in Doctor Strange 2 since it is more accurate to the character. She said, so that started with Civil War. The Russos said, can she just have a softer accent because she's been in America and have been speaking English more? So I was like, sure, I do have to say that in the Wanda next appearance in 2022 Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, after the experience she has in WandaVision, she goes back to an accent that's more truer to herself. Now that I feel a little bit more ownership over the character, I feel like she does retreat back to having this more honest expression. The sitcom part was totally different because she's trying to hold onto an American sitcom world and play the part the best she can. That's the way I interpreted it, John, for WandaVision. I don't remember too many people saying, you know, when they were watching episode 1 of WandaVision, what's the accent all about? I don't think it was much of a big deal when she was speaking an American accent because it fit the story, it fit the feel of the movie, the television series, it fit the tone. But it did make me forget that she actually did have a Sokovian accent. You know, prior to that, I think it was in the first movie, Age of Ultron, wasn't it?
With Pietro.
The real Pietro. Not
Ralph Boner.
I can't say that without laughing at name. They just knew what they were doing when they named him, didn't they?
Ralph Boner.
But what's your take on this anyway, John? It's good to see that we're going back to seeing Wanda Maximoff in her sort of true form again. You know, getting back to basics, if you like.
Stephen, it makes sense for me because, as you did say, the character it stepped away from what it was. It almost had issues with the past and was bottling it up and not want to, I don't know, confront the things that shaped her brother. Her brother passing away, you see it in WandaVision, she has real issues with grief. And then she loses vision, and then all of the events in WandaVision, it makes it clear to her that these things have shaped her. And they'll never go away, but she's come out of it on the other side a better, more, I don't know, fulfilled person, and now she's just going to go back to what made her best, and that's the Sokovian accent and being the Scarlet Witch. So I'm looking forward to this character shining and getting a potential joint leading role in Multiverse of Madness. Stephen, I still think she's going to be a villain. I really do. I think she will be not the major villain. I think there'll be something like Nightmare or something else, but I think she'll be a minor thorn in the side of
a fallen hero.
Of obviously Stephen Strange. He's going to have to kind of get her back on side, and I think part of that will be the Sokovian accent. Of course, in Age of Ultron, when they had the Sokovian accent, they weren't out and out heroes. They were actually working. I don't know were they working for Ultron, and then they seen the errors of their ways. They hated Tony Stark. They had the out and out Sokovian accents, and you've seen it, Stephen, in WandaVision as well. When she stepped out of the actual Hex universe she created, and I think it was to sort out the drone or something, she faces off against that arsewipe, I can't recall his name now. She actually speaks with a slight accent, so it was slipping there.
That's right.
So it's almost like she's been bottling up and creating this persona and hiding her real reality, her real self from the world and herself maybe, and now that she's come out of this daze of grief, she's now back to her roots. So I cannot wait to see this character in Multiverse of Madness. I think it's going to be great. That and No Way Home, for me, are the two biggest movies in Phase 4. You can argue Eternals is big because it's a new ensemble team. And it may connect everything. Well, it may connect everything, Stephen. We've seen a lot of people are butthurt about why they didn't come out of the shadows in the events of Endgame and slap down Thanos with the rest of the Avengers, but could be that it's actually going to synchronise with the events of Endgame. They may pop out round about then, and unseen hand, I know there's a phrase in Glasgow, the unseen Fenian hand, maybe they will be like that and affect things. Steve, we've got a couple of other comments here. Is there a possibility of son and daughter to be introduced in the movie to continue the Indiana Jones legacy? Absolutely. We have the Shia LaBeouf character. I don't think Shia will be back, but I think he may pop up in a different
recast
guise. Or may even be a daughter. This PC is driving me to fucking drink here. I'm going to absolutely tan it like that still game sketch, Stephen, where Ford McLaughlin, what's his name? Is it McLaughlin? I think I've combined the fucking two of them, Steve.
Yeah, tune fat moment.
He absolutely destroys things. He gets angry. We got another comment. Will Indiana Jones franchises go through a remake or reboot type of? I can't even read that in the future. Like so many other classics. And would you think would that be a good idea? Absolutely not. I don't want to see Indiana Jones being rebooted.
John, I want to see this to be the last movie. I know it's going to be. Is it 60s or 70s this one's going to be set in? You know that they've done the right thing, and you know his timeline, you know his lifeline as well. You know, through the decades, the historical moments he's witnessed throughout his life as well, and it matches up obviously with Harrison Ford's age. And I think you don't want to. I'm saying I don't want to see an old guy jumping about with a whip. We're going to get to see that anyway with Indiana Jones 5. But I think,
Stephen, the best scene for me in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and I'm sure it was in that, was the fridge scene at the start in Nuka Town. Pretty much that's when it was, where he is in the fridge. It was unrealistic. Because the lead wouldn't have saved him. He'd have been burnt to a fucking crisp like Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen.
A microwave,
but. Yeah, exactly. It'd have been fried, but it was still a good scene, and that involved an older Harrison Ford. So I think, John, it's a hard balance.
I do think they were at one point thinking sort of long term with the Shia LaBeouf character maybe taking over the mantle for Indiana Jones, but it never worked out because the film wasn't a success. I don't know if they'll go there again. They might introduce. I don't know. Can they introduce a daughter now? Because it was.
Maybe it's a secret offshoot.
It was in his 60s. Mid-60s in the last movie, so I don't know. I honestly don't know.
But you could, Stephen, it could have been a sort of, I don't know, other love romantic interest, and they had a daughter prior to that, and she was hiding in the shadows, and then she comes out, and Stephen, it would certainly fit the narrative of modern day Hollywood. They certainly want to promote female actors more than perhaps male actors, so it would certainly fit the agenda of Hollywood to bring a daughter of Indiana Jones in and promote a female version of the franchise, because we certainly had a lot of male versions, and Shia LaBeouf didn't work. And look, you see the Pirates of the Caribbean, Margot Robbie, potential all-female ensemble Pirates of the Caribbean movie coming up, so I wouldn't write it off. No. Sandro's in, he says, what's up? That's like the early 2000s. I like Indy 4. That's absolutely fine, man. All art is subjective.
Yeah, we're looking forward to Indy 2 in Scotland.
Yes, hopefully we fucking get it. I need to get away from Boris DeFeffel Johnson.
That's independence.
Alexander
John,
DeFeffel, Boris Johnson.
But just going back to WandaVision and obviously the Scarlet Witch character. It was Endgame, Infinity War, that really caught my attention with this character mostly, and her relationship obviously with Vision. We got to see a bit of development in Infinity War, and then tragedy strikes at the very end of that film. Tragedy. Then we get to see her come back, you know, with all the other superheroes at the end of Endgame, and she nearly takes Thanos out, and that was probably the first time I realised how powerful this character is.
And now she's unbridled. And there's no filter.
No,
she became Scarlet Witch. She was hiding that in a sense. She perhaps knew all along, because we do see the Vision in WandaVision. Lots of vision, where she actually gets that vision of her. I think it's her with the Scarlet Witch sort of crown on. So now she's got that completely out the bag. It's going to be very interesting indeed. Sandro says that John Boyega said
seen this.
He returns in Star Wars. He would return if JJ and Kathleen Kennedy were in the team. That surprises me. I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised that he's facilitating Kathleen Kennedy still staying there, because he came out and he was very critical of Disney, Lucasfilm, and their handling of his character.
It wasn't just Disney, it was Lucasfilm as well.
Lucasfilm. He went for them, and Kathleen Kennedy is the president of Lucasfilm. And Stephen, we have maintained, I keep going on about it, I've got a no fascist, no sexist, no racist poster. I am all about fucking representation, man. I've got a Jamaican uncle, as you know, Big Barry, and he's one of the few uncles I actually speak to now. So I'm all about representation and seeing powerful black characters, powerful Hispanic characters, Asian characters, everyone, Indian characters. That's why I'm happy to see Camille Nanjiani in the Eternals, and it's a very varied melting pot of a cast.
And your man in the Grey Man as well.
Your man in the Grey Man, yep. Danush, who's funnily enough in Jagam Ferrandom, I think it is. A lot of people are asking us to react to that. I'm going to be doing it.
Yeah.
After this, don't know how the fuck it's going to work, because the monitor where you normally watch them on is gone. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Stick around for that later on when I put that out. But Stephen, there was a lot of forced representation in those Star Wars movies. They forced Kelly Marie Tran in. They done nothing with her character. They attached her to a dead woman in the final movie. They brought in John Boyega. They trumpeted him as a potential Force user, a Jedi. They had him hold the lightsaber. He held his own against a Force user, a dark side user. And then they fucking drop the ball and don't use him. So it was forced representation.
When I watched Collider,
and that's wrong.
Jedi Council, their spoiler review of The Force Awakens from 5-6 years ago, and the speculation in that was incredible, where they actually speculated for episode 7 that Finn and Poe would be off they'd be like teaming up, and they've been off doing something, whereas Rey would be doing the sort of Luke Skywalker thing in Empire Strikes Back. It sounded great, and they just didn't do it. They split those two guys up who worked so well in The Force Awakens. I felt John Boyega and Oscar Isaac were fantastic.
That
the
was
chemistry, they were bouncing off each other, slagging each other. Just the humour between them was very much like Luke and Han.
Because we had it briefly at the start when it comes out of the sort of Bacta tank. And they're back and forth. Then they split up. You're right. And they completely neutralise the
to shoehorn the
Rose Tico.
The Rose Tico character, and just to shoehorn, just for the
romance.
sake of it.
Everyone knew he wasn't interested in Rose. He wanted to get with Rey. It was clear. He was obsessed with her. He was asking her to come with him. He followed her around like a collie dog in the Rise of Skywalker. So it made no sense for me. They dropped the ball, story-wise, thematic-wise, character development-wise. It made no sense. That's why I'm surprised he actually wants to work with him again, because he was very critical. He says they dropped the ball with the character. There was so much potential. So I'm surprised he'd condone coming back.
Ruth says Scarlet Witch is suspected to be a mutant daughter of Magneto. I remember reading about this.
She is in the comics.
And there was speculation that Ian McKellen may have made an appearance
Michael
at the end
Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender as well, sorry, at the end of WandaVision, which didn't materialise. I'm kind of glad it didn't, John, to be honest with you.
They don't want that connection with that Fox side of things. It was dirty money.
Yes. Sandro says he likes Kathleen Kennedy, but I do not like JJ's storytelling, and big fan of Kathleen Kennedy films.
That's fair enough. Was it Frank
Marshall?
Marshall. They are a dynamic duo, husband and wife duo. They done a lot of great movies producing. I'm not knocking her as a producer. I think she is a good producer. Where I'm knocking her is the president of Lucasfilm. I just don't think she is an actual Star Wars fan.
I don't think she's got the passion.
No, she's not got the passion. And Steve, you see Jon Favreau come in with Dave Filoni, two guys who out and out avid Star Wars fans know what makes this universe tick. They bring the Mandalorian. They bring in Ahsoka Tano. He does the Clone Wars Rebels. You understand where they're going. They grasp it. They want to connect things like Marvel, and that's why it pops and it works. Kathleen Kennedy, she's just a producer, and she, for me, doesn't have the passion for Star Wars, and I think that's necessary to be the head of Lucasfilm, where you are, in a sense, overseeing primarily Star Wars. Indiana Jones is Lucasfilm as well, but it's Star Wars, and for me, she lacks it. But I'm not knocking her as a producer.
No,
his career speaks.
But
man, you just look at it, it's a fantastic career.
Exactly. We're going to move on, John, to our next topic, and it's the Batman, and it's all about the Hot Wheels toy offers. New look at the Batmobile. This is coming in from Screen Rant.
Keyboard's not working.
New tie-in merchandise for Matt Reeves' The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, offers a fresh look at Bruce Wayne's upcoming Batmobile. And it's just halfway down this article, John. A Twitter user with the handle Straight Outta Gotham, a great name, shares an image of the Batman tie-in Hot Wheels toy depicting the Batmobile, the miniature version of Bruce's new ride, as well as the promo art for it. Its packaging offers a clearer look at it in detail, and this is at straight_O_G on Twitter. And
straight out of Gotham.
John, I said to you right away, this looks like a Death Proof car.
Yeah, it's Kurt Russell.
Yeah, what do you make of this?
Steve, I love it. I do.
I love my Batmobiles.
I love that Batmobile. I think it's very cool. They've almost went back to the original Batman. I'm going to keep it up. Sadly, we can't use the split screen because it just doesn't work. The window captures goosed because of the monitor issue. But Stephen, I love it. It's almost going back to the old Cadillac, I think it was, from the original series.
Yeah, the Adam West one.
The Adam West one.
Yeah.
It's not quite. It's got flashy points. I know flame actually comes out of the side. There's like exhaust at the side of the car. So they've done something unique with it. It's a unique twist, but it's gritty. It's realistic. Everything that Chris Nolan's one wasn't. When that was a gritty, realistic
Tumbler,
Batman. I mean, it was a crack. I mean, it was realistic. It was a military vehicle that he'd done up, so I suppose it was. It was the motorcycle that wasn't realistic.
Yeah.
With that spinning anti-gravity back wheel that was turning. But I love it, man. I love it. It's like a Mustang sort of Chevrolet.
Yeah.
It's tarted up. It's black. Does it come in black? Well, it does come in black. I like it. Stephen, we were actually going to get on and speak as a sort of an aside about our favourite Batmobiles. Now, I actually have to search up Batmobiles and see what they look like. Well, I had about 3 when I was a kid.
John, I always liked the Michael Keaton one. It was almost like a coffin. Yeah, it was just something very long,
that was the one I had.
Gated about it, and it had that sort of spare wheel at the back. Funnily, or was it the front? No, sorry, it was at the front.
Yeah, it was
right
the front.
In the middle? They then changed it for Batman Forever with a kind of ribbed effect. And it had sort of lights going through it. It was like,
it's actually an engine at the front. It's like an airplane engine.
Right, yeah.
It was very cool. That for me is probably number 1.
I think so. I liked that one.
Followed by Batman Forever. I had that as a kid. I was obsessed with that Batmobile.
The sort of ribbed one, isn't it?
Absolutely incredible. Was that the Val Kilmer one? Batman Forever. I loved it. Absolutely incredible. That second, I was obsessed with that Batmobile as a kid. I had the toy. Fucking absolutely incredible.
It had a big tail on it as well, didn't it?
Big tail, 3 tails, a big one in the middle. Really enjoyed that, and also the Bat logo on the wheels.
That's right.
All illuminating the engines within the side of the car. Probably followed by the Dark Knight one, the Tumbler. I do like the Tumbler.
It was something different, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was big, it was chunky, it was armoured.
Yeah.
And it was grounded in that realism required for Nolan's story. He didn't want to go fantastical, campy. He wanted a realistic telling of this billionaire who had access to military stuff, to all the latest technology, the sort of thing that your man, was it Fox, was it?
Fox, Lucius Fox,
Morgan Freeman's character, he utilised the cellular stuff. He was at the cutting edge of technology, and it was realistic, apart from the motorcycle, of course. So I liked that one. I'm going through the other ones.
Yeah.
I don't like the cartoon ones, to be honest with you.
The Ben Affleck one,
that was good.
That was cool as well.
Yeah,
I liked that one.
That's the one I'm looking at just now, actually.
I don't think you see it enough. That was the thing.
No, the lid pops off, doesn't it? Superman confronts him.
Batman
and Robin. I says about Batman and Robin, a terrible, terrible movie, campy as hell. Was it Michael? It's something Schumacher. I was about to say Michael. Was it something?
Joel Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher, not Michael.
Yeah,
he's a great driver. Funny enough, he'd have took that a spin and done a great job driving it, but not a director. Not bad. I had that one as well as a kid.
Yeah,
and then of course the classic '66 one with the Chevrolet was just sort of red paint or some shite along the side, yellow paint. I don't know what it was. That was okay. But for me, Stephen, that one will slide in, and it will slide in quite high up because I like it. It's just a classic sort of bullet Mustang. It's black, and I cannot wait to see Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz floating around in it. In Glasgow. Lots of motorcycles were in Glasgow.
Yeah, John, Sandro's saying that George Lucas did choose Kathleen Kennedy for Lucasfilm.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
And I would like to get inside George's head to see what he thinks about that now, that decision.
He was a great producer.
Do you think that Indy's wife marrying is dead? Is that Karen Allen? Is that who plays his wife? Is that his wife? I can't remember. She was in the Temple of Doom. Mm-hmm. Is it? And then she came back for the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I think it is her.
It's Karen Allen.
I think it's assumed she's the wife. She was a.
I don't know. It depends. If they can get the actress back, then she's alive and kicking. If they can't get her back, they could kill her off. I suppose that's the way they do it. Roof says the Batmobile is almost like a character in itself, so it's important to get the design right. I totally agree.
They've all got that sort of vibe that fits the story. When you think of the original sort of '89 Batman, it was quite neo-Gothic. The feel, the sets.
Batmobile fits it. In order of a new Batman film, the 3 things I always look for in this order is the title of the movie, the suit, and the Batmobile,
and the actor.
The actor as well.
And I love Pattinson. I love the suit so far. We spoke about that, quite prototype. It has the actual gun from Joe Chill, potentially, that killed his parents. Vengeance is the key of the story. And having the gun that killed your parents, that just is the visual representation of twisted. Vengeance. It's twisted. And Steve, that's what I love about Batman and Bruce Wayne. He's a twisted guy. He is dark. It's the darkness within the human condition that resides in this guy, and they explore that. That's why I've always loved the character, because he is realistic. You can be Bruce Wayne, Batman, if you've got the money. The duality, I can't even speak, of the character. He's a vigilante by night and a sort of philanthropist, billionaire by day. And then, as you did say, all of the stuff that surrounds it, the Batmobile, the fucking hovering thing in the Dark Knight, just an amazing character. I love him. I can't understand people that don't like him. There is someone that comments on the regular, in the comments, who actually doesn't like Batman, because he shouldn't be going toe to toe with Superman. Well, he doesn't. Superman could crush him if he wanted to. But he has to use kryptonite and stuff like that to get at him, and I love the character. But horses for courses.
Sandro does say Karen Allen is not in the cast of Indiana Jones 5 and IMDb. I'll take that maybe with a grain of salt.
Is she a bit, not a bit like Jamie Lee Curtis though? She's took a huge hiatus from acting, and it'd be hard to get her back.
Possibly. I don't know. It depends on the story, if it serves the story as well, rather, than shoehorn the character back in for nostalgia. I don't really want to see that. I thought that Sylvester Stallone was very very brave in eliminate the Adrian character from Rocky Balboa, because she was such a main character in the first 5 movies, and a pivotal character in terms of storytelling, and he killed her off. He decided it serves the story.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's only so much you can do with that, Steve, before it starts to get in the way. Of actually developing. And I don't think
Talia Shire was. I don't think she was up or down about it. I think she understood that it serves the story, and it did play a big part in the Rocky Balboa story. The loss. Yeah. He does say that. I'm paraphrasing. As he gets older, he has to let more things go from his past. And also
how it shapes his relationship with his son, which is your man Ventimiglia.
Yeah.
Love that guy. I thought he was great. I can't recall the driving one, but it was brilliant. Yeah. The one with the dog. Steve, I was crying. Yeah, I'm telling you, I was absolutely tears pouring down my face, because that dog is like my dog, and it was like the one with dog one with your man from Frequency,
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid, man, I fucking loved that as well. I was crying at that as well, because there was a dog like my dog in the movie. They just have a way of bringing the tears out of you in these dog movies. And then at the end, a little kid, and how that's the dog, and he's finally getting to drive a car.
You seen Cujo?
I've not seen Cujo. I've actually not. I think that's one of the few dog ones I've not seen, Stephen. I've seen.
You might change your mind.
You not cry at that then?
No, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
The biggest YouTube liar is Mike Zero. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mike likes to talk one load of shite. Look, fair play to him. He's created a niche, if you like to call it that.
Clickbait's his thing.
That's fine.
But if that's his thing, I've watched them a couple of times, but I'm not really into the speculation thing. I think it's a very pointless exercise. We try and avoid doing that. We've very rarely did any clickbaity sort of titles on our show, to be fair. Well, John, there was one that the Forced Friday. It wasn't our fault though.
We had 3,000 people waiting to see us live.
They thought we were on the red carpet.
At the red carpet to premiere the Mandalorian trailer. Yeah. And was it the Mandalorian trailer?
It was,
and we were just in my room.
Yeah, we were just here.
I was actually walking the dog at the time. You watched it live, and I was just fucking cringing.
It wasn't. We weren't live, John, in those days. It was scheduled.
Premiere.
It was premiered, wasn't it? And there was 3,000 people waiting to see this show. And I said, John, I think, do you want to cancel this?
It's all French people. Je m'appelle. Who the fuck is this guy in French? Why is this guy holding a? What is it that says? Why is this guy holding a folder?
Yeah,
it's a fucking iPad.
Yeah.
You Frenchies, oh dear. I'm not going to say Frenchies, because we do have someone from France watching us as well. So
but John, listen, I'm going to move on to our final
this show's
topic.
Been unbelievable, man.
It's been great, isn't
fucking
it?
Incredible.
John, this is the thing about chat, and we do appreciate the live chat, people coming in and giving us their questions, their points of view, because it means it's not structured and stuffy, and Steve, I do appreciate that. I'm
just excited that I'm not getting any more side effects from this vaccine. It's 5 years out. I don't think I'm going to get the fever.
No, I don't think
I'm actually cooler now than I normally am doing shows in this room. So I'm fucking delighted that it looks like the Pfizer ain't giving me side effects other than this tender hand. Delighted, man.
Yeah, John, listen, Telepathy Vijay's much anticipated films that disappointed his fans is the headline for our final topic. And the reason I've put this in is because we have been on this journey of watching and reviewing his movies so far. We've been very fortunate that we've picked ones that people do like. But these are the ones.
Apart from Sarkar.
Sarkar, yeah.
People warned us off it.
People still watched our review of it.
So listen, it wasn't the worst movie.
It wasn't, John, but the stardom of Telepathy Vijay has taken the star's career to huge heights. But today we have compiled a list of his films that disappoint the fans despite huge expectations. This is coming from Times Now News, so this is not us that have compiled this news. I have to this list, sorry.
No, I tend to stay away from bad movies. I like to watch the good movies.
So the first one, John, came in 2006, and it was Athe it was called. One of the major reasons for high expectations for Athes was Vijay's 2003 film Thirumalai. Thirumalai was directed by Ramana with music by Vijay Sagar. The film was produced by Pushpa Kandaswamy of K. Balachandra's legendary I'm going to be exhausted after reading this. Kavath Ilaya Productions. Thirumalai became a benchmark film in Vijay's career, and it transformed the actor into a mass hero. After 3 years, Ramana and Vijay joined hands for Athe, which failed to work for the audience. Athe had a stellar cast too, including Trisha Nazar, Prakash Raj and Sai Kumar.
Fair of all of them. Well, Trisha anyway.
Yeah, from 2006, John.
And Prakash.
We talk about, you actually made a good point as well when I said there's 4 films in this article, and you said that's not too bad.
Out of 65, 64, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty damn good, isn't it?
You know, the next one was from 2009, Vilu. Vilu is the second collaboration between Vijay and Prabhu Deva after the 2007 blockbuster film Pakiri. The film was produced by K. Karuna Murathi and I'm sweating here and C. Aran Pandanin under Anjaran International. Vilu also had Vijay playing 2 different roles, father and son. That seems to be a trend, doesn't it? With Telepathy Vijay, it does do it well. But despite all the checks, it failed to work well at the box office. The repetitive treatment and lack of engagement disappointed the viewers, who were eagerly awaiting to witness the magic of Vijay and Prabhu Deva for the second time.
I'll tell you what, Stephen, it does. It pleases me though that they're not just sycophantic. The audience of Telepathy, they love the guy, rightly so, because he's a great dude, and they love his movies, which we have now reviewed, I think 5, 6 of. Watched them, and they mainly have been to a really good standard. There's been a couple that have slightly fell below, but they've not been horrendously bad.
No.
But it's nice to see that they will call it out if the guy makes something that's below what they expect, the standard of Telepathy. They will call it out. It's nice to see there's not sycophancy.
Biggle, we did the trailer reaction for that, and people were telling us straight out, this is not a great film. Wouldn't recommend watching it.
I'm actually going to watch it now.
But I think for the football element, I'm very intrigued to
just the song and dance as well.
Yeah,
love that one with the sort of red light. Just an amazing.
I think it's on Netflix actually.
Yeah,
or it could be Prime, I'm not sure, but it's available anyway. But the next one was in 2010, John. This was Sura, and Sura's expectations skyrocketed when the film was announced as the 50th venture in Vijay's career. Vijay gave the opportunity to direct Sura to S.P. Rajakumar, a long-term associate of director K.S. Ravikumar. Sura was produced by Sangili Murugan under Murugan Cine Arts with music by Mani Sharma. The film had Tama Bhatti playing the female lead, while Vande Vela was also seen in an important role. Though the film had a huge opening, the film's treatment and screenplay disappointed the fans. John, that's a common case with films that are anticipated, isn't it? You're going to get the huge opening purely on the basis of who's in the film.
Yeah.
The film's treatment and the screenplay is where it's going to let you down, though.
It's all about rewatchability as well, Stephen. That's what makes a movie.
Exactly.
Word of mouth, rewatchability. So that's what's going to make or break it, really. And it doesn't matter if you've got Telepathy in there, if you've got a Brad Pitt in there over here. If it's not got good word of mouth and equal fan base aren't connecting with it, then it's going to fail.
You talk about Brad Pitt, and there was that film that you did the review on.
You did it, yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
Thankfully, I can't either.
It was
the one with Marion Cotillard.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Absolutely hated it. It was Casablancan.
It doesn't matter who you put in the film. If the screenplay...
A lot of people love that movie, Steve.
It didn't connect with me. Not right then. Do you know Mike? Zero, no. We don't know. We know of him, but we don't know him. We've never interacted with the chap or anything.
Thankfully not.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's a great guy.
Yeah. Ruth says Sura was terrible. Thanks for that. We'll avoid that then, Ruth. But that's again, it's
allied, Steve. Allied, terrible.
You did review that, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Lots of camels.
I'll have to
I tell you what
After
though,
we
his
read
suit
that.
game is absolutely tremendous. Stephen, it was Robert Zemeckis that directed that movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, it should have worked.
Yeah.
The cast was great. Zemeckis directed it, but I don't know who wrote it. But the dialogue was just the worst I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Come with me to London and marry me. Marry me and come with me to London. That was one of the lines, and I shit you not. Marry me and come to London. What
Terrible.
the fuck?
Sounds horrendous to me. Sounds
Marry
like
me
that
and come to
last
London.
line in Groundhog Day. It's the worst line in Groundhog Day. The only bad line in Groundhog Day.
Stephen, he
Let's
met her the
live
day
here.
before.
Yeah.
He met her the day before.
No,
They have some
that's rubbish.
fight
I don't
with
like
the
that.
Nazis. They kill them. Marry me and come to London. Come on.
Anyway,
Come
John,
on, man.
we'll move on to the final movie in this list. It's Pulley from 2015. Pulley is one of the most important attempts in Vijay's
Oh,
career.
what's going on here?
The fantasy adventure film was directed by Chimbu Devan with music by Devi Sri Prasad. The film had an ensemble cast including Hansika Motwani, Nandita Swetha Prabhu, Shruti Hassan, Thambi Ramai and Karunas. It doesn't actually give you any more information on the film itself. Maybe someone... it does. It also featured Kannada superstar Kicha Sundeep and late actress Sirendeva. Pulley was the last Tamil film for Sirendeva. The mega budget movie disappointed fans, thus leading
That name rings a bell, Stephen. Sirendeva.
to a box office disaster, John.
Name rings a bell.
She said, John, it's nice to
It's
know
a
that
shot.
there is films out there that Tlappy for VJ doesn't come out all...
Jesus Christ, she was quite young, man.
yeah,
That's nuts.
yeah.
How young was she? Can you read that, Stephen? Is that 83?
She died in 2018, so
What the
what's
fuck?
that? I can't work out the math on that one, but that's shocking, actually. But John, yeah, I mean, listen, Ruth says Pulley is a total waste of time. Even VJ could not save it. It was an example of a stellar cast, but with some disastrous results. Do not ever watch Pulley. Ruth, you hate this film, don't you? Fair dues.
But again, it's nice to see there's not sycophancy surrounding telepathy. They will call out a bad movie. It's nice because there is people like the BTS gang, this Korean group over in Korea, and they will just never criticise that group. Even if they put out the worst song ever made, they will not fucking criticise them. So it's nice to see there is that check within the fan base. And that will keep the standards high because you'll know that he won't be able to just put out any old garbage and satisfy people. He has to continually keep this sort of gold standard of movies to keep people watching. So it's nice, man. It's nice to have checks. But yeah, it's a shame that even he couldn't elevate it. Because look, for me, Sarkar, we reviewed it. I think we gave it a D+. It was slightly below average for me. But Telepathy's performance deserved a C+, a B-, a B+, something in that range. I don't know what. I'd have to go back and watch it to actually ascertain what his performance deserved. But it was certainly much better than I don't know what you actually call it, Stephen. The greater sum of the actual... His performance, the grand scheme of things, that's what we use, was better than the actual movie. But even he couldn't elevate Pulley, so that concerns me. I won't watch it. Thank you, Ruth. We're done here, Stephen.
I think we are, John.
Yes.
Just
Whoa,
one last...
I put that
last
up, but we're not going to use it.
One last comment from Sandro, just on the Mike Zero thing. He said that Mike Zero had said Mara Jade is Karen Gillan. It's confirmed.
Stephen, I like Karen Gillan.
Yeah.
First time I've seen her was obviously Doctor Who. I think it was actually Matt Smith's Doctor Who. Was it Matt Smith's?
It was, yeah.
Tennant and Matt
That
Smith?
was Matt Smith, yeah.
And look, I've watched her since then. She's been in Jumanji. She's played Nebula in the MCU.
Yeah.
She is a great actor. I don't think she's the correct fit for Mara Jade.
Because she's got red hair.
Yeah, she's got red hair, of course, yeah. But Mara Jade's... She's shorter than that.
Yeah.
She's too fucking tall. She's like 5'10" or something. She was the same height as Matt Smith, so that's how I know she's tall. Wouldn't work for me. It's not the correct casting. You have to get the casting absolutely right. Go to this. I'm in the wrong scene. You have to get the casting right for Mara Jade. If you're going to bring her into the actual Star Wars cinematic universe, and I want to see the character, I think the character's class. And if you're potentially exploring Luke Skywalker and Sebastian Stan playing him, introducing Sebastian Stan, Sebastian. If you're going to introduce Sebastian Stan into it, then it has to be absolutely correct.
Mark Hamill's too small.
Mark Hamill's too small, he is. Well, Sebastian Stan's thankfully not that small. He kind of work, but no, don't fucking cast Karen Gillan, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't work for me. I should be the casting director at Lucasfilm. I know my fucking shit when it comes to actors. Pay me to cast people. I'll get you right. I don't actually know who could play Mara Jade.
Oh,
you
could
could die
anyone-
here. You could die
I
here.
was going to say that, doesn't it?
I mean,
Gillian Anderson.
Sophia
It doesn't
Turner.
really matter.
Sophia Turner's her name.
Yeah.
Played,
Oh,
Sansa
yeah.
Stark.
Yeah.
Died her hair. Her hair's blonde. She died at Orange, and it worked absolutely fine. Not the best actor in the world, but it worked fine. But Steve, that's going to round it up. That is going to round the show up. What is your thoughts on Indiana Jones 5? The leaked, the leaked set photos. What do you make about it? You excited about this movie? You excited about Mads Mikkelsen potentially starring Steve? I've already forgotten what the other topics are about. Can you maybe fill in what other topics did we speak
The
about? Steve?
Batmobile.
The Batmobile. What do you make about the Batmobile? What do you make about Telepathy and his career trajectory? Is there any other movies that you'd fling in there that we should watch? Perhaps fling in ones that we should watch. We'll go back to the roof list, I'm sure, when we do go back to Telepathy. We're reviewing Super Deluxe this week.
Super Deluxe, yeah.
Vijay Sethupathi, I do believe, is in there.
Yeah.
A lot of people have requested it. Going to watch it, going to review it. But look, until then, guys, you can like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, comment below if you've got anything to say, hit the follow button over on Twitch if you want to see more content like this in the future, and you will get it, guys. But look, until then, I'm done. Bye-bye. I'm buzzing here, man. I've got the vaccine and I feel fucking great. It's brilliant. That was a great session, John. Hope you feel better and your eyesight clears up. My eyesight's already better, Ruth. Thank you. And I feel fantastic despite having the vaccine. So, great days. Bye-bye.